Hello folks, and welcome back to the super yacht. Now, one of the particular challenges of this vehicle, and it's one that people have been asking me about recently, is what are we going to do about all the bus systems that this car has. So today we took our first steps with that. Now, what you're looking at here is nominally called the e-box, or the electronics box. This is where things like the engine control computer and various other modules would be contained. Now, one of these modules is this guy here. This is known as the integrated supply module. It's just a fancy fuse box and relay box with a bit of intelligence in there. Now, when we first powered up the vehicle with everything unplugged here, the car had a bit of a major brain fart, because what it turned out is that the way the Powertrain CAN is routed in this vehicle is this particular connector here loops the Powertrain CAN, which is the yellow and the black wires here, down to the connector on the back of the automatic gearbox. And when we removed all of those components, we basically broke the Powertrain CAN, and so various parts of the vehicle could no longer communicate. So our first step was to cut the plug off the engine wiring loom, and we basically joined the two CAN high and CAN low connections here, and as well as that, this green wire here is our hardware terminal 15 wake up signal. That just basically pulses 12 volts when you do something like open a door. It just basically wakes up all of the modules on the Powertrain CAN and kind of gets them into a ready state. Now, you'll see in here as well an Arduino DUI, and that's got a CAN bus shield on it. And it's running a little custom program that I wrote. That is tapped in down here. This connector here would normally have been going into the DME, which is our engine control computer. So what we're doing at the minute now is we're feeding certain CAN signals that the car expects when it powers up. So if we get into the car now, keeping in mind that presently we just got our Lexus gearbox just on the temporary front mount at the minute, but there's no engine, there's no automatic gearbox, all that stuff's torn away. So we're in here now, we open the door of the vehicle, we're going to hop in. Oh, here we go. Oh, don't now you're going to see on the dash here our automatic gearbox display is telling us that we're in neutral, and we've actually got 1000 RPM on the tachometer. Now I'll explain why that is in a minute. So first thing to do is going to start the car. Well, better put the key in, that'll be a help. Put the key in, and we're going to start the car. So it's going to go through some of the failure mechanisms that you'd normally see here. So we've got things like the coolant level sensor, obviously is disconnected now, and the one kind of system that we have not functioning here at the minute is, if we go here, I think I can see it on the iDrive, can I? No. So the one system that we have here that's not working at the minute, let me just, sorry, I'm doing this wrong. There we go. Yeah, so the one system that we have that's not working is the DSC, which you would, be perfectly expect that to be the case. You can probably see the dash a little bit easier now. So there we go. We've a DSC alert there. But everything else, like the parking brake, the display of gears, everything else, there is a bad airbag in the car, that's why that light's on. But everything else is pretty much doing what it's supposed to do. We can, you know, put the parking brake on, take the parking brake off. We've got a display of 1000 RPM on here at the minute now. What it's not doing for me is waking up the backlight on the tachometer, which it should be doing, because I'm missing a CAN message for that. Okay, so ignore my last. I made a few changes and we've now got our backlights waking up on the instrument cluster here. And what you'll see is this is even with the headlights turned off. We can turn on the parking lights there now and it illuminates further, but the backlit displays are now working. And we've also got our max RPM based upon temperature. Now obviously, you know, that's not going to be a problem for an electric drivetrain, but that's pretty much everything working on the dash that we have at this point now. And we can obviously shift gears. We should be able to, there we go, we can shift back to neutral. We can shift to park, so yeah, there we go. But I can shift gears with the stalk. I can go into reverse, and go into drive, I can go into park, back into reverse, back into drive by means of the selector stalk on the side of the steering column. Now I can do that because the Arduino and the CAN shield that I showed you earlier is basically got a little program that's going to take the CAN messages from the shifter stalk and is then just feeding back to the instrument cluster the CAN message for the gearbox shift pattern. So that's basically where we're at in terms of the vehicle integration stuff at the minute. Once we get the inverter in and we start turning wheels, we'll be seeing more and more stuff going on. But it's not a complete nightmare of bus systems and things like that. Obviously things like the tachometer and that I can drive with CAN. I can drive the fuel gauge, various other bits and pieces like that too. So it's there's nothing quite mystical about this. So yeah, we're making some slow progress with the E65, but it's coming along. So hope you guys have enjoyed it. We've got lots of projects going on. I don't know where to start sometimes, where to finish even. So that's about it for now. Don't forget to check the various links in the description for the likes of PayPal, GitHub, Patreon, forums, all that. And until next time, happy Powertrain CAN hacking.